And I will talk about latest development, how we also use agents in this vertical. I represent Google. Google started in '99, and we basically had this mission statement that's still valid today, that we take the world's information and make it accessible to everybody. This is still the case today. This is the original information quality idea. Have the most accurate, trusted information on the web. But we also have this frontier and the AI safety frontier, and I will also talk about agent safety a little bit. Even we had AI from the get-go at Google. So we know, we're very much aware, this is a Reuters study, that even if you're accurate and even if you strive for quality, trust in online media has been declining. It depends. Google, like everybody else, is a global company. For some reason, Finland has the highest trust. We're in the middle. I hear in Finland they start educating kindergarten kids with information literacy, and in other places people are not as critical. We don't have to talk about that, but we take information literacy very important, and we build tools for the users to have sort of a critical mind what they see online. And so we do this with 3 pillars. As I said, media literacy from the get-go. Yes. So you've seen many of our products over the last 10 years. They're like this little 3 buttons showing up somewhere in the front page. Now AI mode is taking over, many other things. And if you have a search result and you want to know more, we give you more. We don't arbitrate the truth. We make it just like that society can make their own opinions about what they see, but we want to give you the most powerful tools to do that job. And then I'm going to spend a little bit time after the fact. That means this talk is all about our proactive long-term investment. But there also happens sometimes that something like a deepfake, visual information happened, and it's going to be at risk for societal harm. And I want to show you a little bit of what we're doing sort of after the fact with all the preparation. And so this is a paper Nick Dufour and many colleagues published. We're at Google. We're tracking a lot of visual and text information with our partners. And this is specifically on visual manipulated media or questionable media that our users think it's problematic. And even deepfakes were like very popular since 2018. We haven't seen too much with deepfakes until recently. And so this trend is continuing, but there's a lot of other things we have to mitigate. Cheap fakes, there are like lots of different cheap fakes. Right now, like the yellow curve and the red curve are non-deep fakes. The blue curve is deep fakes. You see down there, like the Iranians used Gen AI. They used even Photoshop 10 years ago to Photoshop like a missile into a fake missile into real missiles. And whenever you see a shark, oh, let me try this out now. Here, there's a dolphin. Whenever you see a dolphin or a shark, you probably don't even need a deep fake detector. It's most likely fake. So that's, we're going to go back to the shark, you know. But there's a Zelensky deepfake that we helped, and also the Ukrainian government was really fantastic in information literacy and in sort of pre-bunking and preparing society that when the Russians invaded Ukraine, there might be deepfakes, which actually happened when they took over a TV station. They created a deepfake where Zelensky said, "We're surrendering." Nobody took it serious. We didn't even need a deepfake detector for that. So society is already pretty resilient, but we still need a lot of that detector research. And so I spent a few minutes on this. We're very active in the academic community to publish our findings. This is from my colleagues, some great new paper. One of the common things when you've heard about deepfake detection is the standard way you collect lots of fake images like Stable Diffusion and your favorite Gen AI images and lots of real images and build a detector or an agent that discriminates. And then next week, a new Gen AI model comes out. And then next year, 10,000 new Gen AI models comes out. And you need to have a workflow to constantly update it. And it's an arms race. But we also do research how to stay outside that arms race with new ideas. This is like an idea where we sort of reverse engineer the prompting and the noise maps. One of the authors is actually here, Amnish Sood. So if you can't track me down, I'll point to him again, track him down to learn more about this. And so there's a lot of things where we can be sort of future-proof, zero-day attack, that we're actually more invariant to this arms race. We're very much aware from this arms race, but security theoreticians 8 years ago already predicted we as a community will lose the arms race in 6 months. I'm still waiting for that. It's 8 years later. So we still have a big toolbox to fall back on. And then, most important, we do a lot of internal deepfake detectors and other signals that we do not publish. We don't want to give our adversaries too much information, but any surface from Google and YouTube has our detectors in there. We even offer like identity protection right now. If you are a creator or everyday user and you think somebody's going to deepfake you, there is now even a service that sort of gives you an alert. Hey, I think somebody just deepfaked you. We were first in election policy for Gen AI. If you use Gen AI in election ads, and we supported that, and many other things. So even at I/O with our colleagues at Cloud, we now have an API where almost all companies right now are testing it out, and you can apply for being a trusted partner to use our internal detectors. So, but now I want to zoom out again. This is actually deepfake detection papers, deepfake detection competition. It's like a very popular thing. A lot of PhD students are spending all their time on this, but the battle is actually somewhere else. It's not, you should ask, is this fake or real? You should actually ask, is this trusted? What's the context? And this is now the same graph from Nick Dufour, scaled up to 100%, where it actually turns out even now, Gen AI is a small fraction. There's another thing that's the biggest problem right now. Half of the cases are where the pixels are not modified at all. You're not lying with the pixels, you're lying with the context. And your deepfake detectors are completely useless. So here, let me try this thing again. Oh yeah. You see this explosion down there, you might have seen it. Somebody just claimed it happened in Iran. False, this was, or in Gaza. This happened in 2020, a fertilizer depot in the port in 2020 blew up by accident. And if you run a deepfake detector on that, it will say it's real, because it is real. But people keep reusing this and claiming other things. Or like, these are Russian airplanes above Kyiv. No, they were above Moscow 10 years ago during a military parade, and many other things. And so that at scale is really hard to do. And that's sort of like an investigative journalist who is really well trained, often spend hours or days writing some very deep article about explaining what's going on. And so this is where really we have some tools already to help those journalists and users. We do so-called inferred provenance. We know the origins of the images and the context. Google invented reverse image search already 15 years ago. We're indexing the entire web. And we're on other platforms. You get a picture from your best friend about a UFO. You circle on it, and then it goes to Google, and it says, no, that's sort of, I'm not telling you that is fake or real, but I tell you, like, this was also labeled as a cloud or something else. And very quickly, since 3 years, we're also leading and partnering with many other responsible players to make it even easier to find the history of media. It's so-called assertive provenance. You might have heard about the C2PA standard with industry, Adobe, Microsoft, everybody's using it. All the camera phones that come out from Google, when you take a picture, it will tell you with a crypto ledger, this is a real image. Or then if you like touch it up because there's some glare, then it will add something very transparently with C2PA that this is a Gen AI feature on top of the real image. And we have also SynthID, invisible watermarks. And so this is sort of lifting off right now. The prevalence is on the smaller part. We still need all the other techniques, the detectors that don't rely on provenance. It is a big mix of a lot of things. And that's the issue still. You still sort of have to look everywhere if you want to know what's really going on. And this is where agents come in. And so we have this agent now. We started building it a few years ago. We released version 1 last summer. And we just released version 2 that takes all the sources, all the signals. This is a picture somebody on social media claimed these California students went on spring break and polluted that lake. And so it will not just run a Gen AI detector. That's not enough. It will figure out, well, did the students actually go on spring break to that lake? Yes, but they didn't pollute it. It's Gen AI. Or this is, now we're going back to the shark. If you run a Gen AI detector on that, it will tell you it's not Gen AI. Our agent, Backstory, will tell you this is a real shark. It will have found it, I think, like 20 years ago like in South Africa at the coast by a shark researcher. And the street is not in Miami during the hurricane. This is a street somewhere else, and they were like overlaid. Gen AI doesn't work on this, but it will tell you the entire context, and you together with the agent can investigate this within seconds instead of like spending hours or days trying to figure this out. So if you're interested in this, take a snapshot of this, go to that website, sign up as a trusted tester. We also have worldwide events where like, we're showing how to use this. These are information literacy events and many other things. That's sort of the agent. But now we're going even further. We also publish evaluations that's coming out. I'm not telling you what the other models are. Of course, we're the best, but that for some later time. So now I also want to tell you, and we're working very closely with other parts of Google and with civil society and academics on AI safety, of course. That's why so many DeepMind and Google people are here at this workshop. And we are having, like Dawn already said in her keynote this morning, we have this workflows in place where we have specific product policies for agents, where we conduct pre-launch tests, engineer for safety, continuously monitor what's going on, having partnerships, and this is important for all our agentic flows. And so this is all, we have media literacy, very proactive, responsible generation, very proactive, AI safety, very proactive, after the fact, policy enforcement, reactive. And so reactive often feels like you are in an emergency room or you're a firefighter and you just fight the symptoms, but we very much double down on also like addressing the root causes. And sort of the last point I want to make, because I'm at Berkeley here, is the root causes is not a technical problem alone. And it's not just detecting this is bad, this is good. The root causes is social science. And we just recently had a workshop here at UC Berkeley, generously with Raka Ray and Caitlin Rosenthal and many other faculty. And I'm a personal fan of Arlie Hochschild, who is from Berkeley here, who did this famous study. She went from Berkeley down to Lake Charles, Louisiana, where they have a different view of the world and reality and what the American dream is and why people don't achieve their American dream like we here on the West Coast. And she wrote this study, The Deep Stories. And so What I want to give you sort of as a future-looking thing, there's this new opportunity, social science and AI, and we published already papers and we have already systems. If AI reframing, bridging, deliberation makes sense to you, you know what I'm talking about, Habermas machine, Polis. And so we want to improve also the health of holistically of the society, not just like prevent some policy violation right now, this hour. So that's basically it. There's also, I just see Jana sitting back there, putting a spotlight on her. She's here. She's from Trust and Safety, leading our safety workflow. Again, Amnish Sood is here. Here's the entire team. We're very invested in this safety track, and I'm looking forward to all the other speakers here. So thank you very much.